my diet and my cancer. Let's start over. Hey guys, what's up? It's Meredith. Welcome back to my channel. I have gotten lots of questions and comments recently in regards to my diet and my cancer journey and how those two things coincide, what I eat lately, why I eat the way that I do, and now that I'm finished with my cancer treatment, how I choose to move forward. So if you are new to my channel, I have been battling stage 4 melanoma for almost 3 years now. My diagnosis was in November of 2020. I will share my video with my whole melanoma story in the description box below. Also, if you are new here, I have been eating a whole food plant-based diet for a little over a year now. I actually just, celebrated 1 year being plant-based. If you're unfamiliar with what that means, it's essentially a vegan diet, but from my understanding, you don't consider it vegan unless you're doing it for ethical reasons. And I only switched to a plant-based diet to help with some gut and digestion issues that I was having, and that was from my cancer treatment itself. Anyways, I have lots of new people that maybe missed my history from a year ago or more. So I thought I would just kind of go back, share my history, and share what I have done in the past, what I'm doing now, and how I'm going to choose to eat moving forward. Also, how I think my diet has affected my cancer. So here it goes. The number one comment or concern or unsolicited advice that I receive here on my channel is telling me to limit sugar and carbs as much as possible, which I'm aware. So if you don't already know, simple carbs like bread, pasta, that kind of thing can turn to sugar once we digest it, and sugar is known to fuel cancer cells. So obviously you don't want to eat sugar and carbs. You want to avoid it as much as possible while battling cancer. And that's something that I was very aware of from the very beginning. So in the beginning of my diagnosis, I told my husband, I'm going no simple carbs, no sugar. Like, I want to go all in. If things got worse and my cancer progressed, I didn't want to have any regrets, and I wanted to be able to look back and say I did everything in my power to help beat this cancer. So that was something that I was very gung-ho about. That means through Thanksgiving and through Christmas, I did not eat carbs or sugar. I had lots of people, friends and family, that when they found out about my cancer, they sent me care packages with like all kinds of little treats. And you have no idea how hard that was to just give them to the kids or to my husband or just throw them away altogether, because I was so committed to no processed sugar or carbs. So I was really, really good about it for a few months. So the people that comment like, why are you eating carbs? Why are you eating sugar? I guarantee you the people that are saying that could not go a few months without eating carbs and sugar, especially through the holidays, let alone like go 3 years, because I'm almost to that 3-year point in this cancer journey. So anyways, that's another subject for another day. So yeah, super gung-ho, no carbs, no sugar. And then after my second round of my immunotherapy treatment, I got very, very sick, which now come to find out is pretty common with the treatment regimen that I was on. That means nausea, constantly, really horrible diarrhea. Nothing was staying in my system. Everything sounded disgusting. The only thing that I could eat was like saltine crackers or toast, you know, the typical things that you eat after you have a stomach bug, because it honestly felt like I had like the stomach flu for weeks. I'm a petite person. I'm only 5 feet tall, if you didn't know, and I didn't have much weight to lose in the first place. I'm typically about 110 pounds, and within a few weeks, I was down to like 95 pounds. I think that was like the lowest amount that I weighed, and that was really scary. I could feel bones that I was not typically used to feeling. Anyways, all I could eat was carbs. In fact, sometimes I would crave bagels with cream cheese, and I think that was my body's way of craving the things that it needed to fatten me up. That's all I could stomach. I couldn't eat anything else except bagels, toast, crackers. And in that moment, I was super frustrated because I had just spent the past few months like not eating any carbs and sugar. And so now it felt like those last few months before that were a waste, you know, like I skipped out on dessert on Thanksgiving or rolls or whatever it is that you eat. I skipped out on Christmas cookies and your typical Christmas desserts and things. I skipped out on that, and now like what was it for? Because now all I can eat is carbs. My first scan from all that showed that the cancer was still shrinking after eating all those carbs and things. So that's when I'm like, okay, I need to cool it and find a balance that's going to be more sustainable, something that I can stick with for long term, because I had no idea how long this battle was gonna be. I still don't. So I went back to eating the way that we did before. We were very low carb, low sugar prior to my cancer diagnosis. So I found that balance, but I felt like my digestion and my gut issues never truly healed. They had put me on a steroid and had taken a break from treatment for a while after I did get so sick, and that did help. I finally was not feeling nauseous and feeling so sick, but once I started eating normally again and eating healthy, nutritious foods, not just like toast and crackers, I felt like my food just wasn't digesting properly. I would get this very sick, bloated feeling. It was extremely painful, but then it also kind of brought a little bit of nausea with it as well. I would address it with my doctor, but they would give me, you know, nausea medicine, but nothing that really helped the issue. And I felt like Zofran or whatever nausea medication they were giving me wasn't really helping because it wasn't addressing the gut issues that I was having. So this went on for, gosh, a long time, a couple years. All of a sudden, I started feeling like my side effects and my digestive issues were becoming more constant and more severe, and that scared me. I didn't want to have to stop treatment because of side effects, and I knew that if I brought it up with my oncologist that he would say the same thing that he's said to me many times, which he'd give me diarrhea medication, he'd give me nausea medication and send me on my way, but it wouldn't really address what was going on in my gut. So I decided to take things into my own hands and try to heal my body with food and the way that I was eating. And for me, that meant switching to a whole food, plant-based diet. That made a huge difference. And all of a sudden, it's like that bloating and nausea went away and I was able to do the things that I love to do. I would still every now and then have bouts with like diarrhea and things right after treatments, but I could actually like be active and run. Whereas before I switched my diet, I was feeling so sick that I was just wanting to lay in bed all day. It was extremely disheartening. I also could tell that my body wasn't digesting the food and it wasn't absorbing the nutrients that I was feeding it. My nails were more brittle. I felt like my hair was kind of thinning. It was something just wasn't right. So switched to a plant-based diet, immediately felt better pretty much within like a week or two. And so I decided to stay with it. I'm not gonna lie, like part of me didn't want it to work because I knew that sticking to a plant-based diet was going to be challenging. Like the rest of my family, I wasn't gonna make them switch up their diets along with me. So I knew it was gonna be hard for me to stick with it, but I was able to do it because it made me feel better, and that was motivation enough to stick with it. So when I did this and I cut out dairy, I cut out meat, I cut out, all animal products essentially, I did that hoping that eventually I could add things back in one thing at a time and see what my body was able to handle and what it wasn't. Recently, when I realized, oh, it's been a year since I've been on this plant-based diet, I was like, okay, it's time to try to add things back in. So I didn't share about this here on my YouTube channel because I wanted to see how it went first. And I didn't want the people that are very judgmental and whatever, that's a very small portion of the people that watch my videos, but they are out there. I didn't want to be crucified for not sticking with my plant-based diet, especially since recently I've been getting good results on scans. I started adding in like good quality wild caught salmon once a week, and I've done great with it. But here's the kicker. I actually added that back into my diet before this last scan. So I had a scan, my cancer was shrinking. Then I started adding in the salmon, had another scan, cancer is still shrinking. So I don't want you guys to be freaked out that like, oh, she's adding things back in when things were like starting to go the right direction. Why would she do that? But honestly, I feel like through this whole process of switching up my diet and having to be really in tune with my body and my digestion, I feel like I'm getting better at listening to my body's cravings and knowing what my body needs. I added in wild caught salmon because I truly believed that my body needed more sources of protein. It was something that I was craving. And sometimes when you're craving something, I mean, if you're craving cookies and things, that's just called a sweet tooth. But if your body is craving certain foods, sometimes you need to listen to that. And I think that just comes with practice. And just being really in tune with your diet and with your body. I was craving fish. I was craving it. So I took that as a sign that that should be the first thing that I tried to add in. And it's gone great. We do that once a week. We have wild caught salmon. And we've been doing that for about a month now. And it's gone great. After adding in the salmon and then that going so well, the next thing that I wanted to try to add back in was eggs. And I was very particular about what eggs that I was getting. We actually got them locally from a friend of ours who has their own chickens, and I knew they were good quality, and it did not make me feel good. And I even tried it a second time the next week to make sure that it was the eggs that made me feel bad, because I was like, okay, I also had like spinach and stuff with it. So I was like, maybe it was just bad spinach. So I had the eggs again, and same exact symptoms again. I was having the bloating and the nausea and diarrhea and the whole 9 yards. So I was like, okay, cut that back out, not doing eggs anymore. And that was the whole purpose of adding things back in slowly. Now I know that my body just like cannot process eggs the right way, and that's okay. Will that always be the case? I don't know. Maybe eventually I'll try again, but as of right now, not eating eggs anymore. So after that, the next thing that I knew that I wanted to try to add back into my diet was some form of meat. Again, it was something that I've been craving for whatever reason. I told my husband so many times, like, I've really been craving pot roast. Like, I am taking this as a sign that my body needs that. I don't know if it's the iron or something in that that is making me crave that. But again, I'm just gonna try this once a week, but we got really good quality, locally sourced, organic, grass-fed, no added hormones, good quality beef, and made a pot roast with it, and it was so good. And I felt great the next couple days, still feel good. So I think we are in the clear with that. So I'll do salmon once a week, and I'll do beef once a week. I don't know what I will add back into my diet, or if I will add anything else at this point. I don't know. It's something that I'm kind of just playing by ear. And again, if I get some sort of craving that, you know, lets me know that maybe that's my body's way of saying that it needs that food back in, then maybe I'll give it a try. But as of right now, I'm really happy with the fact that I've been able to add in 2 good quality sources of protein. When I'm not eating meat or fish, you know, I'm still sticking with like tofu or beans, whole grains, other, you know, vegan sources of protein. I've also been using my Vegan Power Pro protein powder from First Form. I've shared a lot about that, but I love that protein powder, especially on days that I'm doing a really heavy workout. I need that protein to help my muscles recover and maintain that lean muscle tissue. So that's been really important to me, and it's helped me feel really strong, which is my goal right now. Yeah, that is my history with my diet and my cancer, and how those 2 things relate with one another, how it's affected my cancer journey, what I am planning to do from here on out. I hope this has been helpful. I know, again, I've had lots of new people joining me here on my channel, and I hope this gives you more of an insight as to why I eat the way that I do. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comment section below. I love hearing from you guys, I really do. If you are someone who is currently battling cancer, just know that you are not alone in this. If you ever need someone to talk to, you're welcome to comment down below, but I also have my email address, and that's my personal email address in my bio on my page, so go check that out. Also, if you are not following me over on Instagram, go over on Instagram. I'll link my handle down below so you can go follow me there. I feel like I share a lot more updates and things over on Instagram recently. I also just want to share this disclaimer. My diet and my way of eating is simply what has worked for me. This is not a what you should eat video. I am not a dietitian. I am not an expert. This is just simply what I've found to work best for me. Everyone is different. Everyone's cancer is different. Everyone's story is different. And that's okay. Sometimes it takes a little bit of trial and error to figure out what works for you, which can be really, really frustrating. Don't get me wrong. Like, I've been there. It's taken me a lot of, like I said, trial and error to figure out what's worked best for me. But in the end, like, it's worth it, because what's going to make you feel strong, what's going to make you feel like you can live a normal life, that is so worth it. You are worth it. So I'm going to end this video here. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you are new, subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you never miss when I post a new video. And I will see you guys next time.